确当作就错难吧，将就把大家确切基本错难给抓拉班这个生意做不了手工上这做就错难吧，将就把大家确切基本错难这抓拉班这个三这三这确当错就错难吧，将就把大家确切基本错难这抓拉班这个做不了手。Dayata gade para gade para son gade body yasu Dayata gade para gade para son gade body yasu Dayata gade para son gade body yasu 심지어 담제도 토자라나 마제바 사제에 공부하는 뭐 진짜 토바자 디지털 장주스 발라변나 수시는 영수라니 나와라 신고를 투지 shum마로 와시거든 나는 가서 봐도 남들이 쇼닝이 있었는데.
And so we set our motivation as we normally do to really dedicate ourselves to do whatever we possibly can to attain the fearless state of enlightenment in order to benefit all living beings. And in order to attain that state, we understand that we need to perfect all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path, and to perfect those trainings in turn, we need to have a really perfect understanding. And to gain that understanding, we need to be able to rely on a valid source of information. And so it is with this in mind that we are here this morning to hear a talk on the graduated path to enlightenment teachings.
Lama shati sengi seta. Ani di tugane USA. Ani temjo to chola tene ani kasoria. Ani kasoria ta kanja nyane chile chive lama jawa to chane ma chive ta kanja cha nyane chive chila chive lama de kates. Seta ani ye chola ani kasoria ta jizu jabo kombola ani kasoria ta de kasoria ta de ano jesu jabo kombola ta kaja papa tomela so ini la so ta kaja jaji juju la ma de ka sa ta ye cho la den ka so de ta jesu jabe ya na sama ta ju ba la ma de ka sa ta ani de ani ka so ta an de sham de la ani ka so ta ka tam ke ne la ri ba shum ba ba me ma ba de ka de sham de la ni jang ba la zong ga ba chi bi ju ba de ka sa ta ani de de la ka so de se to na rang de ja za la ma la 아니 최종도 라마디가 권이 유효소서. 아니 되네 다 같이 지금 아니 다 상가도 같아 저 지젤라 소베다 같이 지금 가서 두고라 소베 라메 아니 기고라 저한테 유효소서 되네 내저주 되네 자주 주주 내저주 내저주 주주 자주 아니 계산 산제동 아니 되네 라디에 자주 받죠. 계산 산제동 아니 되네 아니 가서다 파와제에서 원조다 다 네버세진 게라서베 아니 자세 파베 소티가 되어서 디샴들은 라디에 자주 받게 되네 자 아니 되는 년도 자주 받는 바로 컨트 추종 수마스다 마상 내버지요 상상체 더납jes 고바시 담내신 고바시 어디르체
And again, as usual, let's set up the merit field in the space in front of us. And that begins with the central figure of the merit field being the one of skillful means and greatly compassionate, the Munindra Shakyamuni Buddha. And that's then surrounding the Buddha, particularly from the back of the Buddha, is the lineage of the gurus representing the consecrated practices lineage headed by Vajradhara. And then to the left and right we have the lineages of the extensive practices headed by Lord Maitreya, and including the great lamas of like Lord Arya Asanga and Vasubandhu and others, and then also the lineage of the profound view headed by Lord Manjushri, and including the eminent gurus such as Nagarjuna, Chandakirti, etc. And then on both sides, and again just below those, will come the individual schools representing the Kadampa lineage, being the a school based on the graduated class teachings, a school based on textual lineage, and then a school based on the or quintessential instructional lineage. And below them again is the lineage of the Geluk tradition, in the center of which is the Lama Tsongkhapa. And then focusing again on the figure of the central figure, and below there, just below in front, is the area which is occupied by our own root guru, surrounded by all the gurus from whom we have received teachings. And then next to them come the different tantric lineages, the highest yoga tantric lineage, represented by the deities such as Goya Samaja and Chakra Samvara, Yamantaka, Kalachakra, and so on. And then the yoga, set of the yoga tantric lineage, the Charya and the Kriya tantric lineages. And so following them, and then we have all of the different sets of Buddhas represented, such as the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon, the 35 Buddhas, and so on. And then from there we have the 8 close disciples of the Buddha, such as Avalokiteshvara and so on, the Arya Bodhisattvas, and then the hearers and the solitary realizers, then the Arhats, then the Dakas, the Kinis, and the Dharma protectors, so that we have the complete set of all the different elements of the merit field in the space in front of us.
아니 라고 된데래 아니 제가 라고 안 세티 파만에 집에 비비가 조보조네 집에 아니 밤에 심제되네 아니 라고 뒤통에 지고 뒤랑도네 지고게 아니 제가 저 담배와 다체 텔라소다는 타입에 맞겠습니다 탐제 아니 넘버 미 발라 아니 리두소소 동에 녀시 맞아 아니 잡이 대다게 아니 연대 템시 메건 아니 잡이 대다를 미건 대바들이 시에다 메고 유대 어떻게 고마시
And then we visualize that in the space all around us are all kind, mother, sentient beings, and then really isolating actual members of our own family, of those to whom we are close, those who for one reason or another we have animosity towards, and they towards us, and those who are neutral, and that they are all represented in the space all around us. They also all the beings, regardless of whatever suffering they are experiencing from within their own realms of existence, they are perceiving that suffering and perceiving their world through human perception, human consciousness. And so that they are also then, while recalling the qualities of the different members of the merit field, are also looking towards the merit field with a mind of faith and aspiration.
랑게 타고 이와 마지막 섬제되다 랑도 고고는 수가 대와 되셔 되어 본거 밑에에 동해를 직접 니트도 나한테게 아니 와다 와드르잖아 아니 동해 나서 tellatebe 아니 미스베잖아 아니 닌체차 아니 개와를 미베대봐 어디는시.
And so that's along with us then they have this view, or their mind is filled with a sense of faith towards the figures of the merit field, that faith is informed with the faith of pure faith, the faith of conviction and manifest faith, and that also we are cognizant of the suffering of all the beings all around us, that they are bereft of the happiness that they so badly want, and they are inundated by the suffering that they do not want, tormented by it. And so it's through our understanding of that suffering, and indeed the source of that suffering, that we find it unbearable and develop a sense of compassion, wanting to relieve all these beings of their suffering. And so it's with that twin attitude of mind of compassion for all the sentient beings all around us, and a faith that towards all the members of the merit field.
다 지금 대화 도지 동은 밑에와 뒤 경찰도 전에 인지 개체 버려. 뒤에도 인지 개발이나 인지도 술에 있는 개토야지. 다 뒤면 봤잖아. 랑게 랑 경찰도 제발이나 아니 소소딕 랑 경찰도 전에 다 그래서 소소 비비죠. 저거 것이 봐. 들은 인지 개토와. 뒤게 되고도 와. 다 뒤면 다 뒤야 대화 도지 동은 밑에와 인베 경찰도 전에 아니 인지 개탑지야지. 뒤 제발이나 아니 근데 랑게 셈 예보도 니마치 랑다 첨부 매바 차바 이나야 디 랑을 뇌게 봐 이나 닝제 되게 투에치 되면은 랑 좀제도 제원도 니마치 소소게 디다 마가와 차소나 아니 쇼가 닝제께서 유들 관다데 관다 아니 디라 뇌바게 유차야지 연구도 와디 가르쳐 연구를 생각하서 닝제게 좀제한테 딱딱지 매바 인사 다 좀제한테 대화도저 동의 밑에가 좀서도 잡아이나 라라 내가 걔게 있네 대화도저 동의 밑에가 찾아 들려 니지 개투에치 용도그라 와다 좀서 양다가 더 니지 개투를 배주제리 개체 뭐 이거 어떻게
And so that this sense of compassion that we speak about towards the sentient beings all around us, we must constantly try to make sure that that is a validly established sense of compassion based on reasoning, and that it's not simply as an emotional sense of having a compassion for those who are close to us or family members and so on, that it must go beyond that, that it must be able to cope with the fact that those who are friendly towards us may change and may become unfriendly, and that that should not interfere with our sense of compassion, because our compassion should be based on simply the idea that people want happiness and they do not want suffering, and those that then are bereft of the former and inundated by the latter, and that should be enough to constantly keep our compassion solid and ready, and that that should be able to also, even when somebody transforms from being our friend to somebody who actually harms us, who dislikes us, so we should be able to sustain a sense of compassion for such a person, and it should not be altered by their particular relation to us. And so we can see where we fall short is that we have a fickle sense of compassion, that we are very compassionate towards the one who is friendly to us in the morning, but if they change and their mood changes by afternoon and they show dislike towards us, then the compassion disappears very quickly as well. We can see that such compassion can't be based on the valid reasoning of simply that a person is bereft of the happiness they so badly want, and and inundated by the suffering that they certainly do not want. And when we are able to really establish that as the fundamental cause of our compassion, then even the one who harms us will still remain a valid object of compassion for us.
소설 가게 연애 가게 매나 그 뒤에 내가 그 뒤에 대대고 요번에서는 술라이네 니지께도 뒤면은 쇼가 니지께서 저 건다 너밖에서 창원도 아는데 가다 된거 열서는 어제 니지 주디 당기 매배 다된 거 열와 니지 주디 강사 집어 지장하래 돼 이네 쇼가 니지께도 거나 니지께도 뭐다 어떻게 다 된데 좀 많이 받잖아 니지디 좀생 통해서는 좀생의 장배 뉴제 개발이는 그 뒤에 네트워크 거든 좀생 장다 좀 거든 좀 봐셔도 있어.
So this importance of constantly emphasizing compassion that is based on reasoning, and that reasoning is that people are bereft of the happiness they want and inundated by the suffering they do not want, and this really ensures that our compassion is absolutely constant and is based on a firm foundation, because after all this desire to have happiness and to avoid suffering is constant for everyone at all times, and therefore the compassion that is based on that should also be constant. And if we find that our compassion isn't so, that as was pointed out, that in the morning we can have compassion for the one with whom we are relating well and they're relating well to us, but by the afternoon they kind of confirm that they actually dislike us, and so we lose our compassion at that moment. Then we know that our compassion is insufficient and that is not based sufficiently well on valid reasoning.
다가는 이제 강사다 강사가 쪼반이디 여와체 계시 보시죠. 디 여와체 마도나 아니 저 가서도 쪼반 마티바 제발 때는 강사를 콘도 사태 쉬고로 와. 어디 뭐지 강사도 쪼반이 여와도 쪼반을 균주체 강사는 이지게.
And so that requires in this context too the training to be able to distinguish between a person and that person's behavior. And that here it's often the case that if we equalize or we kind of see a person as their behavior, then our compassion is going to be compromised and fickle. Whereas if we can distinguish between the person and their behavior, we can at the same time maintain our compassion for the person whilst still criticizing their behavior.
어디는 보바셔 다 간제제 아니 되네 소신 대다 아니 소신 대다라 다 세답네 아니 가서 세답네 아니 다 지금 가서 소신 대다 광고 좀 제대 가려서 다 대화도 동네 믿어봐 인자 아니 대화 탐제도 봐 동네 탐제 대화도 수제 도로서 왔다 소신 대다가 제대로 누가 인자 이거 고여 와 어디 공부 좀 제대로 공부 좀 제대로 다 되네 인자 아니 소신 대다게 아니 투가래 외세 트네 저 정말 투가고 레다 투가고래 외세 트네 아니 초지 신람자는 수배 아니 배다 가자데 아니 다데 소신 다 신람자는 수바 대다 어저 소개신 다 대다 가서 신람자는 수배 아니 지 가서다 지 가서래 다 지금 로 산셔서 바칸도 다 대소 자수 대다게 20번 것을 제한타네 안 소신 대다라는 바 팀소 삼삼제 어디는 공부시 라나게 신의 20번 것을 제한타는 소신 대다라는 팀소 삼삼제
And one of the reasons that we actually visualize the merit field in front is, of course, that it is through the merit field, and it is the merit field that has the capacity to be able to facilitate our development of the happiness that is so badly needed, and eradicate the suffering completely that we do not need or do not want. And so there it has the capacity to fulfill really the goals that we are aiming for, and that we visualize the merit field with all of the different personalities within that merit field are marked by the 3 syllables of the, a at the crown, oma at the crown, a at the throat, and hung at the heart center. And from the hung, and then light rays emanate from all the members of the merit field, enter and invite the wisdom beings from the Buddha realms, and these wisdom beings come and dissolve into each member of the merit field.
다들 랑게 진짜 자외 라마 추동도 라마고 당고 소신을 돌로 소한다 할 때는 아니 개발도 다 랑게 가서 제 진짜 자외 라마는 그래서 진짜 자외 라마라 추동도 라마도 소하다 진짜 자와 라마 때려 랑전 입어시 주네 아니 랑게 지월라 뼈마트 니만 다외도 내 소삼사체 아니 디 아니 랑이 이제 갖다 줘 집어지네 소신 야 때는 아니 다 랑게 랑을 다 잡ጆ지게 돼 나바체네 아니 잡조지게 나바체는 소신 대다를 다 가자 얘기했다 다 로마 아니 대 아니 가서라다 아니 가서데 자주랑 그림에 치콤도 지기도 자주랑 그림에 또바기에 또바지기도 아니 대대게 한다 또바기에라는 바두치치 디바다 마차에다 또바기에라는 아니 소신 대 소신 캐나게는 지기랍도 쓰스 야 순대체 순대 제발할 때는 초신 대달에 아니 가서다 간자 두제난 같잖아 토마메 디바들 켜봐도 자주 난 거를 티고 말라 바주제 디바들 디바들 마 자치소 서서 어디는 공부시 어떻게
And so then we kind of make the supplications to the members of the merit field, and that we invite the central figure, the precious Guru, to come to our crown, on which we have prepared a lotus, a moon and sun disk mandala seat, and that the replica body emanates from the central figure of the merit field, and it comes to that seat on our crown, facing in the same direction as we are, back towards the merit field, because now our Guru
초신 소의 샴들 란데 디제 자외 라마라 최종고도 라마고 되죠 봐 초신의 샴들라 초신 뒤인데라 초신 소의 뒤인데라 뒤인데 다른 디제 자외 라마라 최종고도 라마고 되네 란데 디제 자외 라마 뒤랑데 니바 죽다.
Oh, sorry. Yes, so it's not the central figure of the merit field that we are supplicating, but in fact our own root Guru from within the group of gurus from which we have received teachings, just there at the feet or directly in front of the central figure of the merit field. I apologize. And so we supplicate that our own root Guru, and our own root Guru emanates a replica body which comes to our crown and sits on that seat as described, facing in the same direction towards the merit field, and now acts as the one who is interceding on our behalf with the merit field. I'm representing this particular disciple who is very genuine in their aspirations, and I wish to ask your blessing so that this particular disciple may quickly generate the realizations on the path to attain the state of enlightenment. And so as a result of that particular supplication from our own root Guru, the 5 colored nectar lights emanate from the members of the merit field, and that's starting with the purifying nectar light, the white color, and so we purify all the negativities as that light enters into our crowns, and we are endowed with all the potential to quickly attain these particular realizations as a blessing from the merit field.
what did this commercial what did the and da ga je labri chazang ko ba ina da de chosin de da la and je ka so de da je ka so de chosin de da and ka so da ga je je do da to ma gyule je ba la and yala tu ko ne and je ka so de so de ji da and da ga ni da ga je je zhang ne and ka so de chu ga ge bat 추가게 추가 강바견을 추수지에다 다들 것도 다 먹고 줘봐. 로아 어떻게 다들 그거 안 될라 추수지 아니 남자 표에다 되게 된거 제조 다 조사 집장 지에시도 뭐다 되게 남주 다 잘해도 요번 시체에 좀 어떻게 되지 아니 되나 아니 다 저거 그래서 고 신이 된 줄에 제마 아니 라브리그 미고도 마 동에서 어떻게
And so that this particular supplicating of the merit field, and creating that intimate connection with all the members of the merit field can be done really very, very extensively as well, depending on the time that one has, and that in order to really develop all the realizations, to get all the help we can to develop the realizations on the graduated path to enlightenment. And so that might include also offering of the seven-limbed practice, the offering of the mandala, the setting up of the bathhouse or bathing house, which is very exquisite in all of its aspects. Look at beautiful marble floor, bedecked with jewels and gems and beautiful canopies, and the sparkling, perfectly pure water, and that then when one invites all the members of the merit field to come and to bathe, and they are offered beautiful clothing and ointments and perfumes, etc., etc., so that you do the absolute best to show one's appreciation and to invoke their help and blessing.
자치부 타야고 어디다 지금 어디에 지금 애들이 비다 모습 붙이려 좀 어디에 좀 고마시 아니 되네 왔다 되게 지금 대화 지금 사신의 신체 왔다 되지 어디에 고마 아니 되네 또 워부도 추조사 다마 바제 마 추조도 다도 아니 되네 영가라도 더 추수 표할 때네 구조수할 때네 아니 워부도네 아니 추마 다 구조수에게 아니 추디게 마 되지네 안 도와리 두기 감라 마티스 나와 이다도는 미라라 아니 대다게 레뉴게 시험하제 대다게 디바다 디바 탐제 와 다수 삼사제 내게 교연 탐제 다수 삼사제 어디에 공부시에 되는 연구요라 어디에 주스를 qabla 어디에
And so that this then is the offering of the bathhouse. And the bath practice involves visualizing the best possible of everything that we can visualize in terms of the whole bathhouse being bejeweled, decorated, and the water itself is being absolutely crystal, like from a bliss realm, and that and following the bath or the bathing of all of the different deities, etc., of the merit field, and the offering of new robes and so on. Then the water that has been used by us, that's been poured to give them that bath, we see it drains out of the basins of the bathhouse through 6 different pipes, and that this corresponds with the water going to each of the 6 realms of existence, and as it pours into those realms of existence and onto all of the residents of those realms, they are purified of all the negativities and obscurations that they've accumulated based on karma and the afflictive emotions, and that also they are the contaminations of the place that they are in are also completely cleansed and purified by this purifying water.
What is commercial? That what the commercial that Taya was or that and the Jazadota and Yala to maintain the Chava Pure and then a lamb goes Shinita Sune, Jenta Wajata, Jina Buduzuma Womana, Yuneshi Jume, then Jama commercial, and call Lambu Chazas, daughter Shakum sort of Chetuna, and Duzibachatos Chet. What did the Shakum sort of Chotuna, and Nimachaja Lambu Chazan come to Shungurua. What did the Chet?
So then we can again offer the 7-limbed prayer and the mandala, and to go through all of the subject matter of the graduated path to enlightenment, but starting with how to correctly relate to the spiritual teacher. And, if we are short of time at that point, we can simply recite the prayer known as the foundation of all qualities, which is like a glance meditation on all the subjects of the graduated path.
Nima read a lamb chazan shakom jetubaina. And Nima jigda so bena to legal lamb water retard to baina and retard to bagal and quite use or chatted use or chatted and call lamb got things are watching Yamsula to a jungua.
And so this is very good training if we can engage in this kind of glance meditation on the graduated path each day. Then when it comes to the time when we no longer have to work and we are retired and we have lots of time on our hands, then a more extensive and indeed a far more profound meditation on the graduated path will be available to us, because we are so familiar with the pertinent details of the subject matter on the path.
어디 교회를 찾아도 어디 배우고요라 어디 그래 아니 내가 가서 먼저 투기나데 야라 좀 거네 쳐봐 표고요네 근데 제발은 네 제발가 문에 그런 대답이 शे수 섭사도 소식 대답 शे월에 대답 투기로 대화도 대외 동반들 대동님은 이 계속 섭사 어디를 고바시에 개쳐 보이 말이야.
What's also important is that whatever practice we are doing in connection with the merit field, such as making the offerings to them, or offering them the bath and so on, and make seven limb prayers and mandala offerings, etc., etc., that we always pause to understand that the merit field are incredibly pleased with what we are trying to achieve, and really show that through their experiencing bliss. From that bliss arises emptiness, and we see them abiding in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness. This is very important.
아니 뒤견되는 거다. 지금 소속이 지금 초가 나로다. 지금 초가 나로라. 아니 지금 그냥 상계 구이에다. 그 다가리 바이네. 아니 근데 또 먼저 초바 피고로 와. 초바 피고한테 초시에다 탐제 유삼사제. 라면고 초시 마상하고 유삼사제. 어디를 보바시. 아니 초시에다가 또 피고유. 안데다 문에 거라 시에서 삼사. 안데다 또 대화도 대통령께서 이시께서 삼사 어디를 고바시기나 이제 라면 공부 유삼당 말에 그 뒤에 제유 그리스도.
So that this offering to the merit field, the visualizing of and the offering to the merit field doesn't always have to be followed by meditation on the graduated path. It's depending on time, of course. But in each day, we should really make a habit when we are at our altar, and we have our a representation of the Buddha's body in the form of a statue of the Buddha, to visualize making offerings there. But also that the Buddha is not just alone, but indeed a whole merit field is also present, that we are making offerings, not to just one, but to all the merit field. They're complete without any exception, that they are very pleased with our intentions, with our offering. They display this sense of bliss, morphing into emptiness, and then the wisdom of abiding in non-dual bliss and voidness, and that we have this sense that they are engaged in that in each day, to do that as much as we possibly can, in fact, not just once a day, but every time we are conscious of our altar.
조단이 이제 삼시다마다 저 남주 차진에서 지구에서 저는 그 삼로달 그 쇠버쇠야 되게 버렸다. 나 남주 이제 그대로 이제 표현이 계제 세계시가 도나처럼 해봤는데 많이 봤잖아. 아니 문에는 산지가 연대도 저버자. 아니 소신 마상 매버 유여섬서. 문에 그런 대슈 유여섬서. 고샵다 때문에 그는 야피 안데다 뭐 시에서 섬서 어디랬잖아. 산지 장선 가바이네 요래. 가바이네 요. 랑 어떤 매버 잡아이나. 내가 시에서 섬서잖아. 랑 솔랍치 뭐 사이트에다 어디를 펜도로 어디를 저는 소소 남주 말아서 지혜로 뭘 신도 비다 버들 뭐 거주네 신도 녀되고 신도 당부 남자 사마샤바체 출라치 야 쳐바지 표 안전에 주지 지금 제일 말려체 프리스나로 샴티로 어디를 잡고 어디를 지라비 삼사잖아 다 가르 사기는 가르고 어디를 저표 무슨 거나 시업 삼사 어디를 공부시 중앙에는 아니 표에데 중조전은 매바 있는 소소의 교수님사의 계좌다 타야바 주네 타야바 주잖아. 아니 배 저거서데 동송부 동치부 지대 감타제파 강 주잖아. 아니甚至 탐제 산제 고마 토베처럼 아니 조합이에. 아니 랑이 류대 류직 말바 단다보다 개와 같은라는 개와 때달라죠. 탐제다. 아니 마기 난게 탐제면甚至 탐제를 냠도 표기요 삼선잖아. 어떤데 고마시바이나 촌 납치무 사투에.
So this business of really kind of multiplying the positive merit to be able to fuel our intentions and fuel indeed our practice is so important, and so that to accompany the actions we do around our altar and our everyday practice with these kinds of visualizations is to again avoid in the first instance just doing everything by rote and very mindlessly. engaging in a conversation while doing your water bowls or something like that, and that we need to bring it back to making the most out of that time that we have by imbuing our offering actions with these very powerful visualizations, so that the respect that is necessary is there, and that we actually have the sense of the Buddha's bodhisattvas are really actually there, because that is the case, and the Buddhas are in each place always, and that they are very pleased, and that they really experience this bliss and voidness. And it's very important for us to understand that this is a very powerful way of our accruing tremendous merit that will really help our practice and avoid us really falling victim to obstacles, etc. And that in terms of what we put on our altar, fruit and food and other offerings, that it's important that even if we buy in the supermarket good fruit, that rather than eat it immediately, we offer it to the altar, offer it to the Buddhas, and leave it there for a few days, and then afterwards we can take it and partake of it and eat it, and that this goes for even if you're hungry for that particular fruit, you can offer it for several hours, and then afterwards use it and use it yourself. And so, but it's initially that first thought is that whatever I'm partaking of, my own food and so on, that I make an offering of it to the Buddhas initially, and that this is very important, and then that they are pleased with that offering, that they experience or manifest this experience of non-dual bliss and voidness, and that and also to really use our imagination to increase the offerings that we are making. It may be one piece of fruit or one item of food, but that we can visualize that this is, endless. It's limitless. We can multiply that, and also that in our own, that the one offering that food as well ourselves, that we can visualize that. It's not just my one body here that is making that offering, but I can visualize all my previous existences, all my previous rebirths, and in their own bodies, making that offering at the same time. So there's countless, from beginningless time I have limitless rebirths, so they are at the same time together with me making that offering. And also that all the sentient beings also, that they are present and they are at the same time making this offering. So we're all doing it together. So making limitless beings, making limitless offerings at that time.
What 아니 초조 산제의 자주서 못하는 소식 대단 탄제 투기는 대화도 대화도 뉴스에 시켜서 원대는 고바시바이나 촐랍치부 뉴부 조조에 근데 심지어 탐지기도 산제 고마토에 쳐도 안 표고요 삼사 원대는 저 촐랍치부 사도에 되는 거로 원대는 저.
And so it's very important that even though the offering that we might have is very small and insignificant, that we increase the power of that, through visualization, as has been described, and that it serves to remove obstacles to our practice, and that all the Buddhas that we are offering to, countless Buddhas as well, they show that they're very pleased and satisfied with the offering, and they again display this manifestation of non-dual bliss and voidness, and that we also have, developed this tremendous potential to activate the merit that we already have to enhance our practice and to increase the wealth of merit that we need to ensure steady practice into the future. Shokran Gyatang Nishu Tamba.
니슈다마차 오래.
And the go ne, and it's like good.
어야.
Google data geo chungo tang to monggelam rimba
오래. 당간자 간제 저 기부숨글 남거 좀 봐서 기부숨글 남거 좀 봐. 대 당간자 저 그래. 근데 이제 당간자 저 지당 가서 심지 탐제 산제 고마 토바 제거데 이내 기부 충을 남게 똑바지 안 겨라 막게네 기부 등이 개도 말 때마지 기부 충부 개도 말고 견자네 시에도 와 견자네 시에도 와다 로하다 사메다 심지 탐제 산제 고마 토바 제거데 나 당보들라 기부 충을 남게 뭐게 삼로게 내세지 말로나 아니 심지 탐제 산제 고마 토서 그 책삼 차도로 와 책삼 차도로 되네 이제 답이 기부 등기 또 와기 기부 등기 삼로 당상게 니바 톰바 야부 용해라 기부 충무 삼로 당다도 비다고 용고도 안 내세로 와 정도 되네 이제 대다 기부 충무다 투모에 남게 발라 로장베 로나케베 체네스 와다 되네 장네 로케베 체디라 nga 체디 되는 중도 조보 제정 치매 되는도서 다 최주바 그 최주 그 시중 잠래 매바데 안 고냐 단니마 최 최케달링이 요데 이네 최최에서 가서 다가서다 저기 시부지기 그 시계 그러면 시리스 맞제버전 딱간제 맞제버전 다 세디 개체보지 치마 그래서 최치매 된다의 쇼라 제티에 소라 제티 파 용의 친제는 세디를 치마 개체와지 안 세디 안 쇼라 제티에 좋아이나 왔다 고로 창구요 왔다 고로 창구요 어디 쓰고요 다들 나 세디 변 좀도做교체 치매 된 도서 최종도 샤종 잠래 매바데 공대에서 세디 샤종 잠도 손시 치마 되는 做送나 로나 때 개베 체이노 어째
And so that's we are approaching now the end of the section dealing with the teachings relative to the person of elementary capacity on the graduated path. And it's saying that though we have our motivation, we retain our motivation to go to attain a state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. Here we are still concerned at this point in being able to establish the subject matter of the elementary path in our mind streams as the foundation on the way towards, on a kind of a ladder towards being able to really fulfill that motivation of really attaining the state of enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. And to dismiss the subject matter of the elementary level being is a serious error, and if we don't pay due attention to generating these subjects in our mind stream, then we will simply be just paying lip service to the rest of the path. We won't be serious at all. So it's very, very important that we are able to generate and to know what the measure of having generated the essential points of the stages in common with the being of elementary capacity are, and that here it's important to kind of move from this kind of point of view of taking the path in a very casual sense, and to really become more serious about our practice. So here it's pointing out that the measure of really having generated the key issues, the key points of the stages of the path in common with the being of elementary capacity means a kind of a transformation of attitude. So here we have reversed the attitude whereby previously we focused all of our attention and efforts on the affairs of this life and only thought about future lives as a kind of a secondary consideration. And that now we are looking at the affairs of this life as a side issue, and we are focusing all our attention, or most of our attention and effort, on future lives. And so if that's the case, then we have really, this is the measure we have attained the main objective of the person of elementary capacity.
딱 개치주대 소소 사나 토나 도나 대나 딱 간제 가리 지구 여바 있네 디 개베 개와 치매 되나 팬배체도 지지 개와 치매 되나라 로다 개와 치매 되나 팬배체도 다 지지 좋아 이뭐 이나다 다 중요해라 개와 치매 되나 남남 슈슈고 도에게 돌았다 즉 배출 제대로 좋아 이나 어다가 최제스기로다 최제스기로다 어때를 얘는 체들라 먹어 이렇게 잡아 체들라 사야 거면 통역 거면 대상 그게도 예배 때는 아니 착생 매마치 체디 개치 못 맞으겠지 나 저들라 삼로 땅땅 통에 기지 시고 여러분도 그 튕게 유에마 요 기지 시고 요 말해요 너 좀더 뒤 놀대기도 와 뒤 튕게도 유에 맞춰서 말해 튕게인데 유에바디 치매도 하나 편도해야지 체디 될 체디 될 만족했지 체디 될 조선 또그 담라 소바 디게치 뭐 체데 애니 디 맞으는 막기 맞은 대되기도 와 어디 갔다 되고 체디 될 조되고 디 중나야 야고를 맞으고나야 semla 강해 매바 대투근데 아니 그런 내세를 놓고 여러 왔다
So this, the measure of having reached this point on the graduated path is marked by our dedicating everything that we do in terms of all of our actions, mainly for the benefit of future lives. And so this is foremost in our mind. And that this doesn't mean that we dismiss everything about this life. Of course, we still need to eat, we still need to have a place to stay, and so on. But what it definitely means, what it definitely indicates, is that we have dealt with the attachment that we have to the affairs and the things of this life, and that our focus is no longer so dominant on the things of this life, and we are focused primarily on the benefit of future lives. And so, as they say, that we're not dominated by our clinging to food, clothing, and reputation as the three main things that were often cited in the texts, and that we have our attitude firmly dedicated towards future lives. And so it doesn't mean that we can't have good facilities. It doesn't mean that we can't live comfortably, but our mental attitude is such that if we have things, we are comfortable with that. We are not attached, we're not dominated by it. And if we haven't got the things, we are just as comfortable, and the mind is not in any way upset or clinging, because we are dedicated towards the benefit of future lives, and therefore not deceived by the so-called excellences of this life. And that we should be able to isolate what we have, and to look at what we have, and to be able to pose the question as to, is this going to benefit future lives, or is this going to be harming future lives? So what I have here, is it going to help or harm in future lives? And to be able to answer that question honestly is key. And it's not to do with the things themselves, it's to do with the way we think about those things, our attitudes towards them. How we think about them and how we make use of them. And that and so it again brings home the fact that whether a thing is harmful or helpful to a person is really down to how that person thinks about it, their attitude towards those things, and that and so. And then
samlo tangdang ga thona da kan je so de so samlo tangdang ga thona da ka je pen to ba so pen to da ma do so de samlo tangdang da jidang ni la ra le ge to jidang so jidang ni la wo da ka je samlo tangdang da jidang ni de ani ge wa chi ma kun je la pen to ba de so to ba ina ani ju cha la da de ge ne ge ge yo ma ra de ge ge wa chi ma pen to lap chi mo tuk tuk ra samzo ge wa chi ma samlo tang che de ko ma ju cha la ko ma ge ge ko ma this go ma di chimal manyobachi chimal pyabachi dati samlo tangdang ko tone jegu do samlo tangdang ko tone.
And so in this regard it's really this is where the power resides in how a person regards what they have. And so a person can have live a very comfortable life with many possessions, but because they are completely dedicated to the benefit of future lives, then what they possess is not going to be harmful to them, and that indeed they will be able to peruse or use those items in order to be of benefit in future lives. So it's really a case of the attitude we hold towards what we own.
Chedi gechimu maze chene ane chima gechimu zine ta chedi shoala samlu shoa sura che chima de ane samlu zo tange chunga yimba dende chigi rotugu tona ane goro da kacha che goro da kasa da lamgi ne kebe ane tse yin shi wada wadene sungto wadene shi dadi yimba yinza dila da kacha gewa chima peche ngondiyo koma juwela kota lende di gechimu ziye lende ke namsha yaku shibacha lende yaku namsha yaku shiba yimba yinza ane dila tene dunghe chunga ine dewe gyula pechu tangtuye ane dewa chunga ine yangyo dewe gyula pechu tangtuye chi wada tene yongtuye chi ko lende ke chotang yaku shiba yinza odine chi.
And so yes, this basically this measure of having attained the essential point of the path in common with the being of elementary capacity is this attitude of transforming our attitudes so that the affairs of this life become more of a side issue, and that we are mainly focused on the benefit of future lives, and our thinking is transformed thus. Implicit in this and essential to this attitude is the abiding by the law of cause and effect. There's no getting around it. This is really key to this. In order to hope for a fortunate rebirth in the future, one must be able to not only understand the law of cause and effect very clearly, but also to apply that understanding, so that no matter what happens in our lives, in terms of whether it's suffering or whether it's happiness arising, through our understanding of the law of cause and effect, we can ensure that when suffering arises for us, we can actually use that to inspire virtue, and that when happiness arises, we can equally use that to inspire virtue, so that our future is looked after, and that this is very, very key.
lo jangja nyudo chiwa da shiwe wodo nyansong do kene de wo dunga dala yuribu nyongo wala jikse daba lo chungse ja meba yina da meba yina tsaranga me chöje baja saba da baja shukchimbo meba da tsetiriya ane tuasam jigu yoba yina tuasam de nedo masowa nenga takdala matebachi nedo masowa masowa sa chöle lo deba yinbe gyönshindo chete sa.
And that so that this is then not just requiring us to gain an understanding of the law of cause and effect, but actually to put it into practice. And that if we are able to practice conscientiously, then there's no doubt that we will be able to work towards the benefit of future lives and not have to be so concerned. And it said that the thing is that even though we train the mind in this way, death is definite, and after death we will have to take another rebirth. And that here, if we have absolutely no concern at all in our minds that rebirth it could end up in the lower realms where we'll have to undergo incredibly harsh suffering. If that doesn't impact on our thinking at all, then it's just like all the previous work training that we've done in the mind has been wiped out. And that it means that even though we train the mind through study, contemplation and meditation, it means that we have missed the point completely. And this can cause the mind to become very conceited and hardened. And this is one of the greatest faults.
What and the social normal do a chedu, social normal you are social going, you were social more tribute tone, and a church. But deeper, but the son does social sem to damage, and me teaching the P chicken in the Hachidel Chibayana, and social sem to your children about what. The social sungu you, but social image, more tribute tone, what that Chavan, Galila, Tabu, Lalabo Meva in there. Galili Lata church. And Cassia Lelabo, Kyong Pasha, Topchaboyona. Took that again, and it was a Bacha said to it. That the day, your man, I am called Pedro Javachana, called Duja Sonam in our insa, called Mita was in the inside, called Dead to Negame, Pedro J. Chen, called Lata to him, but what you need one.
So that this really points to a severe danger that we have, that whereas we really need to engage in mind training and to see it as what's all important in my mind training is to subdue my mind. To deal with the mental afflictions that I am afflicted with, to deal with the faults in my own thinking, in my own attitude, in my own behavior, and that is key and crucial. Whereas if we are in any way pointing outwards, with our bit of knowledge of Dharma to point out others' faults and what they're not doing and what they're not doing correctly, that is really like poison. And so we have to be able to begin at the beginning and to look after our own practice very assiduously, and to kind of understand, sure, it's not easy at the beginning, nothing is when you're starting out, but that because this like everything else, our minds are impermanent, they are functioning objects. They can be influenced by cause and condition, and therefore if we continue, we persevere, that things will become easier over time. The ability to control our minds, to make the right decisions, will become easier and easier if we continue with that effort.
And Benjamin Chile was some Yoinane, Tesum Yansa, Tapanja, that Langshonia, the gender Jumpe took us some Demaganga, did they say that you are what you say, Cashetum without Yungua. In a dark Chicasoda. Because of the Chapa Damada, then Dara Samutan, and Mambu Jabala did. And what they called 교화태 도스 가부 차티 그러와 어때서 그러면 조가숨 대자 건가 어때서 스케치 말로 하자 거기 코라코라 조가숨 대고 좀세 요청을 거든 내가 뭐 이제 어떻게 그거 뭐죠 다 당하는 이제 잔인년에 쇼다 뭐저 지금 지구도 주고요나 생고요나 즉 쇼르사소나 양조 주에 가고 싶을 지기도 와 어디서 어떤 것을 지지디 가게 되도 와 지지 쇼르사도 거 양조들이랑 상관 지금도 와 어또도 뭐다 어디서 벤준스는 그래다 최변민 최와 민케데가 최다다 맞는 다 직제 대조라다 변주 최제 쇼와서 다지 어디 데데데 한번 보고 냠내 맞지가 저러 안 되게 그 셈듀얼 펜도고도 데데데에서 나디 롭준 제바 티제 디냐바 있라 얘네 냠내 요 말와다 그 장가지에 소리 찾은 거기 어디에 규도에 제도 있어서 그 직제 찔러 막고네 디 규도에 배주 땅토바이나 안고 그 지도도 저거로 와. 다들 멤버잖아. 그 장가지에 소리 찾아. 어디 신고에서 어디는 자는 규도에 마변은 남실 규도도 요구 말았어. 그러다 최신의 최대 쇼와 임바이나야 라므는 도투 요소도. 다 라므는 최대 쇼와 이나 난 최신바 도투 말했어. 난 이제 그 sab자체 개체 버려도. 모두 뭐 요다 배나 당분 낭주를 도나르시 아니 때문에 exciting 돼서 어때 약도서 아니 때문에 가자선 제 아니 때문에 냠내 갈샤풍마도 가자선 닝바닝바체 도나면 뒤에 신고에서 곧 냠내를 제점 가자선은 나는 바 judgment 지에 오피 약고도 미도 judgment 지에 소지 차 어때 차에 내가 도 어때 용도 다 돼서 그 최저를 쇼 봐. 지금 뭐죠? 규도 달 배주 당 도와지. 좋아하는 최저를 마셔 용 거요. 그래서 어떻게 잡수고도 어떻게 참
And so there follows this example, and then three examples, in fact, of what's regarded as three great self-deceptions. And says a woman with three husbands, a bird that has escaped a trap, and a monastic who's given up the Dharma. And it's really, the particulars are not important. It's really saying that if one surrounds one's life, one indulges one's life with a lot of attachment one way or the other, then it's going to be very difficult to become non-attached. It's a self-deception, and it's kind of like really putting oneself in difficulties oneself, and that like the bird, the kind of saying that has escaped the trap. If they've escaped, they're not going to be caught again. It's kind of like going to be difficult, and that in regard to the monastic who's given up the Dharma, it can often be the case that somebody meets with the Dharma initially, and is highly impressed and indeed very excited about it, and says this is a wonderful system, it's great, and that and then after some time, when they get a lot of information in their minds about it, it simply becomes just a vehicle for them to pontificate on what they know, and rather than they are really from the beginning understanding that the Dharma is designed to subdue the mind, and that to control the mind, and that they miss that point, and that here it can be a very, very dangerous course of action or a fault to make, that one becomes very conceited and judgmental because one has some sort of knowledge of the Dharma, and it's only useful for casting judgment on others rather than subduing their own mind. They go, yes, I know. Oh, yeah, I know that. I've done that, and I've done that practice and so on. But it hasn't really made any impact on controlling their mind, on subduing the mind, which is the key point. And it's said that if you engage in other Dharma practices and they fail to subdue your mind, then there is some hope for you. But if you've studied the graduated path to enlightenment, and it hasn't been able to to subdue your mind, you haven't really got any benefit from it, then there's really no hope for you. And so it's very important that we make sure that what is studied is put into practice.
아니 덴셰게 심베토네 베준 무트네 제토와치 야 셈도 다부 맞아 셈고 양보체 아니 거 가르체바이네 최수 조투에 가르체바이네 오다 유튜브에 최수 조투에 오데 체바이네 아니 뒤제 소나마다 니마치 제부디 민도 그래.
So that this it really requires us to have the objective very, very clear, clean in our attitude from the very beginning, and that is the objective here is for me to subdue the mind, to control my mind, and to gain control over my mind, and that the attitude must be devoid of any sort of idea that this is going to be a quick fix. We must have a long-term attitude and be prepared to make a consistent effort with a relaxed mind, with an open, relaxed attitude, but make sure our consistency is there, that it's a very consistent effort that we're making over the long term, and so that we can slowly make sure that whatever we do is directed towards spiritual practice, that it really is a spiritual practice, and that spiritual practice is focused on subduing the mind, controlling our mind. And with that in place, success is really guaranteed. And so that long term is really eon to eon being prepared to continuously practice.
소소 즉 년종의 서버주마마인 바게 년종의 서버주마마인 바지 개원도 지체 취어서 줘 되는 거 같네. 거기 도고 자적으로 다다 모두 드라마다 가서 년종 비다 보게 두고요 말이야. 세들라 현자 쇼쇼 보시고 차대 버 년종 비다 보게 마도 인사도 용 되고요 봐.
And so this really what we are aiming to reach is a point at one time when we have developed some sense of genuine renunciation, and that after that, and then we will be able to proceed a great deal more quickly. But the biggest stumbling block for many of us engaging in spiritual practice is this lack of genuine renunciation, that we're always kind of making deals about our spiritual practice. It's always sort of like compromised because we don't have a sense of genuine renunciation.
근데 년종의 sama 매바 인사 아니 나라 년종의 sama 매바 인사 아니 즉 최지 중간 지금 열때 아니 라바 데레스 추세버 소리 차오로다 즉 잘라 녀바 즉 제와이나 라바 데레스는 추가 사도로 와 와다 데레스 소리 차다 년종의 sama 소리 좀 라바 데레스 추 소리 차오로다 그 딱다 대두로 와 다시 년종의 sama도 즉 배주 제가 지금 열때 그가 내 마사도고 열었다 가서는 강가디 직대 최제게 로랑이 쳐주고요.
So that again is describing, as you can see there, that when we are making efforts at spiritual practice devoid of renunciation, it's like you're having dharma poured in, but you have your fingers splayed so that it just pours out through between your fingers. It's gone. Whereas with renunciation, you've got your hands cupped and you're going to catch whatever is poured into it, and so it's very important. And that again, that the splayed fingers of being able to everything falling through, and not being able to hold the practice that we have tried to engage in is a sign that we are our practice and our thinking and our attitude is really infected by what are called the zombies of the 8 worldly concerns.
다 이나야 뭐저 락바들의 세바상 어서 지가 지거로 뭐다 락바 세게 요 말와 뭐저 지 배주 제바 어라 다 취해서 삼로를 당 제가 제 락바 땅마다 틱틱 되기로 봐.
So it's better than having your hands behind your back in a sense. Like at least you've got the idea to practice. Even if most of it falls through, something sticks on your finger. You know,
Some
you've got
drops
something.
stay here. And then to 수육으로 와. 갈리 수육으로 와.
Slowly, yeah, you can tighten up the fingers and catch more and more.
잠번에 이래서 되는 지혜라고 말와.
Yeah.
근데 이제 갈리 다 되는 스트롤 다들 아니 되네 년중 섬지 깨사바이나. 아니 지제 추로 줘줘로 와.
And so that made Genna say, yeah, better than doing nothing, having your hands behind your back. And so when you have them out, at least you're started. You're doing something, and then slowly, hands come together, you catch everything, and this is your perfect renunciation. Then everything you do from there on in is going to be spiritual practice.
Yeah, 아니 년중 때 아니 대간들다 자주 그 셈게 아니 돈이 또 베셔라도 계셔 아니 그 저기 아니 되네절라도 오 상계 개체 못쓰게 말해. 그래서 셈증 되어도 개체 와.
And so then you develop renunciation, then you have a sense of bodhicitta and the correct view of emptiness. And like when they are firmly established in your mind, then you have the idea that, that the actual goal of enlightenment actually isn't the key thing. The key thing is to be constantly benefiting sentient beings. And so then it's not that essential that you attain enlightenment, because you are constantly performing the duties of an enlightened being anyway by benefiting sentient beings. That's where your main focus is. And so that and that's the kind of like the capacity anyway, because you have sentient beings with you all the time, and so you have that opportunity to benefit sentient beings at all the time. And so if you've dedicated your mind to being able to do that, you are establishing the causes for enlightenment all the time anyway by benefiting sentient beings.
자주사 돈이 더 베셔라 스바이나 아니 진배 파지가 냠내 차도 그래 아니 수림 다가라 용거래 셈제라 되는 용거래 집바 셈제라 되는 용거래 소바 셈제라 되는 용거 다 되게 가도 아니 준도 되게 셈제라 다 되게 가도 오 셈제서 그래 진짜부터 우선 아니 거기 아니 들라되는 초 앞첨부 조도에 아니 들을 된다 싫어 되게 됐다 뭐 용거 다 되잖아 가자 지금 셈제서 쉬우시게 다 저도 아니 상계 맞게 개바 가야만 셈제고 된 두개 저 다가르가 이심네. 데 아니 코알에 동네 요서 동네 요 말에. 가서 들 때는 코에 동네 레니 바사는 거 레니 바사가 요 말에. 동네 매매 갈라 아니 샤나 페바 슈치보 두두 니와 요구 요래. 아니 산제 존을 라슈고 두두 와. 와데레. 아니 데네 이마 예자 셈제 찔라 페바 좋아네. 개바네 개베버도 엠베 냐와 남에는 내고 저나 직사리 삼삼 원데 내게 저 아니 저 가서도 장강바 아니 저 가서도 자조라 다 초된데라 아니 저도 쪼나 연구로 뒤능시잖아 자조 강바스로 가서 강바 가서 인제 강바 장강바 아니 초기부터 내려봐 이나고 쪼나 연구로 뒤능시잖아 계속 다니 친구들서 셈제 찍라 편바 좋아해 봐 있네 안베 냐와 남에 나는 내 깨바는 깨워봐도 내고자 들라 팽개도나 지게도 삼사시 들라 가병하는 조투에지 아니 근데 그 로또 경화에 좀 그러거든.
So this then is the the fusion of our attitudes and our actions and all our behaviors with the notion of the tremendous kindness of sentient beings. And so this is the fulfillment of that notion in our minds, so that it informs all of what we do thereafter. This notion of being of benefit to others, to sentient beings, and holding them in such high regard, and any the works that we do in that regard, and bring this tremendous satisfaction to the mind, and that is enough. We don't need to have this aspiration even to attain enlightenment, because we are fulfilling the role of an enlightened being in with regard to this. And likewise, the suffering of cyclic existence is no longer suffering to us, because that suffering arises because of negative karmic imprints, and that we're not collecting any of those anymore. The mind is completely dedicated, and all our actions of body, speech and mind are dedicated to the benefit of sentient beings. And it's such an intense way that we have this willingness to even engage and suffer the suffering of the hell without respite for eons, if it was able to benefit just one sentient being. And as it says in the verses, that we enter into that sort of suffering, if it's going to benefit any sentient being, any one sentient being, as joyfully, as enthusiastically as a duck coming into land on a beautiful lake and swimming in a beautiful lake, and that we have that same attitude of mind.
Kasra ko rang chenses me je an samlo de pemba pashi de shela pen to to tona yo de jungro da mo da jema do rang chense on yo de yo.
So that we are in this way also seeing what it's like to be able to really exist without being constantly compromised by our own self-cherishing attitude, and that this is what really holds us back, not only to being able to benefit others, but to being able to benefit others perfectly. And so when we have when we're developing that proactive attitude of really helping others and helping in the best possible way, that this is completely contrary to allowing the self-cherishing to dominate our attitude, and that is a wonderful way to be living.
Nando masamna ane tsik toba mangshe so ta sem tu tab to nalo da in sam tamado wa ina tsik toba mangge lar tur so wa ta tawa shi go ya sa o da to ta ta nyomo jo sto de chu da to ta ma la gong zhang nyong la lo de be ju yin xie xia bu kang be song se ka de xi ki xi xia bu kang be song ka sa去了是看起的写吧写吧用起来写新年儿子我把那么送吧到了我推上公司马街吧来讲得捐钱我推上公司马街吧来讲得捐钱但呢今年就老人都是推呢写吧这个国外样结吧一边特别对了是你把它对那拉呢人那多钱什么的这种不这个的推个我说去推吧这个国外这个两种人也去推吧这个有了是第嘛这吧那的推吧都偏不到说了的推呢写吧的推呢你写吧去写吧这写的两种人的话写这个国外样结吧一边9%两面结吧一边特别对了你把它对吧说是你把刚有给人拉来的那多钱说的那个全部只能结果了是다 너무 최퇴를 배주자 퇴바데 아니 시에도 말 배주자 시에바데 냠즈 나와를 배주지고 요라 뭐다 될 수도 라 제고 요라 뭐다 송바다 년다 류다 롱저게스 게와도 미다 와서 최자와 타지 마도 자고서 홍코든지.
And so continuing with this, the kind of like what to avoid in regards to practice is that saying that if we do not internalize our practice, but we rely on just studying many texts, then this will degenerate our practice. And that also, according to Geshe Shawa Kangbo, if we engage in a lot of study but very little meditation, then that's only going to serve to harden the mind. We develop a conceited attitude. Likewise, another quote from indeed many great masters from the past have said a mind turned outwards is very hard to control, and that this is even worse than if we have failed to engage in study, contemplation and meditation in the past. And likewise Lama Tsongkhapa points out, it says that the point of knowing through study is to apply that knowledge. Therefore it is crucial to put the meaning of what you have studied into practice as much as possible. And that here the goal of learning is to gain understanding. The goal of understanding is to actually meditate, and that means putting it into practice, integrating it into our lives. And in this regard, it's said that we should be very aware of not being overpowered or conceding to friends, our body and our possessions in regard to practice, but to many times reach the conclusion that we must engage in spiritual practice. And that these three of our friends, relatives, friends and relatives, our body and our possessions, not becoming an obstacle to practice, but rather conducive conditions for practice, depends on us, and it depends on our thinking in particular.
자제군의 대초고 요마다 그 치료고 지당만 보지 거 가도시다. 다 낭로가 삼로 당당한 미까지 런이 쇼스 좀 정간나 주셔봐네 냠내 삐딱 붙잖아. 치료 경우도 오 뒤뒤 빼고 그 약부 증수 쓰기들이 여러 봐. 내가 치료가 냠내 약쇼도 뒤뒤 잡습니다. 그래서 그 삼로 당당한 소설 나발로 와. 소설 나발로 와. 소설 나발로 다 된자 그 지금 소설 삼로 당당한 돈에다 년당 규자라당 아니 다카리마에 튼제 카리마 되게 최주에 튼게를 더투바 제도 소소 삼로 단다라래로.
And so that in regard to this, that any external condition need not impede one's spiritual practice if one is doing the internal work, and this is the key, regardless of what the external conditions are like. And that even studying, is not necessary in order to be able to engage in proper spiritual practice. And indeed, many great lamas who spent many 25 years and more in prison and found it to be wonderful conditions. And they say, how wonderful, this is a great opportunity for me to subdue the mind and to engage in spiritual practice, because they could do the internal work in prison without any distraction. And so this is a very, very important aspect to always keep in mind, that Dharma is an inside job.
치치의 제마도 용거래 배나 차체야사或者 멘데사야 스긴다고던데다 어떤데 망고지기다 제마도 용거래 와 그텔라 잡어요나 얘 남겨쳐도 제마도 와서는 남겨쳐도 닝제 거에 잡아고에 자주가 셈 거에 동니가 따와 거에 삼로다 야나야도 삼로다야 아니 가리만에 나와나제 유대는 마주가 삼로다야 그러나 아니 잡아도 닝제 거두이 내 셈제 통한테요 셈제 동에 나줄다는 들려 몇십에 닝제기에
And so that we can't have the excuse that we are too busy to engage in a spiritual practice. What we can only be describing there is some sort of external manifestation of spiritual practice. doing prostrations and making mandala offerings, etc., etc. Sure, you might be too busy to do that, but the actual key practice is what you're doing internally, and that can be going on all the time regardless of what you're doing externally. So it's very important that busyness can't be an excuse for the internal development of love, of internally cultivating compassion, the clarity of your view of emptiness, seeing all appearances as really lacking any objective existence, of really understanding that all sentient beings are suffering and they want happiness, and that that's cause enough for me to generate compassion towards them. These are all internal considerations, internal cultivations that don't need any external manifestation of practice to enhance them.
네, 아니 나라서 통대대 강가다 동해 장자다 동해 들었더니 동해 때는 아니 동해 들었더니 동해 중모트에 아니 들었더니 코알은 예버주에 년중기에 그가 용조사로 당가서 삼로마다 이제 남의 대샤로 난 뒤지도나 아니 가서 대 워크맨 그때 그러다 당가서 다 잘라 잡아요 아니 뒤지여야 돼 아니 가서 먼저 가서 워크맨 쓰는 남자를 니 share 잡거든 니 아니 대대가 열어 봐. 그러와 가서 뒤집문데 네, 뒤집도 열어. 뒤집 배주 단거 요 말아.
And so yes, so that this ability to be able to really whoever we see to contemplate their suffering nature, to contemplate on the causes of suffering, and to inform our minds about that, so that we develop the sense of renunciation that is so key to the path. And that this can be occurring at all times, and not to make the mistake of saying that, oh yeah, now I've got some time on my hands, I'll just stick the earphones in and listen to some music, and that saying, oh, I don't have time. So you have to be able to choose carefully what you do with your time.
네. 근데 니수 내가 있네. 뒤야 그 니수 크라 이모르티 장신의 마주바 컨데스레도. 그라 고치어와 니주의 컨데스 연구도 니주 크라 아니 그래서 유대의 두바레도 레모도 근데 이것도 삼로 제바제 연구도 와. 제 조사로 왔는데 제바이네.
And so even if you are listening to your favorite music, you can be contemplating on the fact that it's again lacking any objective existence, and that it doesn't exist the way I hear it. It's merely imputed by thought and so on.
뉴즈의 가봐 연구도 그네 연구도 그런 뉴즈의 가봐도 컨데스 연구도 아니 아까 좀 뭔가 전에도 하고 잠녀다 잠녀 뒤에 아니 그러나 잠녀겠다 자제 뭔가 상고도
So yeah, you can be discussing go through the whole process of where is this music coming from, what's the source of this music, where it's coming from. Is it like, so we have the players, the musicians, but then the musicians are reliant on their instruments, and then look at the instruments, and so somebody's playing guitar, that means you're made up of strings and the frets and so on, and so on and so on. So you're getting to understanding that the music is arising in dependence upon all these parts, for example. Where the fingers are, what the fingers are doing, and and so then you might be able to relate that to the fact that it lacks any inherent existence, the music that you're actually listening to, and then it makes some sense, that there may be some use in your actually listening to music. And also, your attachment to particular songs and particular music, and you say, okay, well, where is that attachment? What am I actually attached to? Is it the person singing? Is it their voice? Is it the actual tune? Is it the way that they play the music, and so on? And again, into the fact that attachment lacks any inherent existence. And so again, you found a useful way of listening to music. And so then it's like, we reaching that point in the contemplation, listening to music, where you're not finding the source of your attachment to that music, and that you merely place your mind on that mere absence of the object of negation, and remain there, and that's, you know, becomes a genuine meditation on the emptiness of the attachment to the music.
다 녀다 류다 롱조 게 동도 메다와 최자와 타자와 저와 되네 걔가 되네 어서 되네 걔가 다 되네 전에 걔 가보 좋아 이나야 좋나야 남기 시인베스 다 걔 가보 좋아다 들라 배주 맞으나 탐배 봤다 그라 배주 맞으나 탐배 들래 탑시 셔바 준다 저거와 탑시 셔바 요 말이야 그러고도 대화 되고 여러 동네 되고 요 말이야 아니 대리 뭐 인자 다 대화 죽답다 동네 대화 다 죽다다 동네 셋업 그다 남이 양다 버자 때도 대화 지금 용답다 탑시 셴배바 인자 깨까나 가세 요바 있나 남기 시 뭐 인자 배고서 배대 셰송바다 기부 중요 초고 대나무사 고마 다다마게 장 아니 깨와라서 라마 군조스라 소아 자도도 아니 사자지에 매제 그에 잠도 사야라 사자지에 나 배바치고레스 어떤 배바치 배바치 안 당하는 게 기부 담바된데게 지금 람냠슬란다 남다된데야 도나치에 어쩌셔 민난 정원라서 나래장 배주 채와 제네 안 공부그랬어 때문에 탐배바 인상 배주 제고랬어 안 다른 것도 밀릴랜드데 배주 좀 맞아봐 이나 아니 치마 편지를 잡아야 매버다 다른 배주 제도는 직 제도는 투어와 대자 개와 치만 남소 개베 물람 대고서 어디 다지 배주제 아니 대마게만에 개와 치마 편지를 개투에가 그도 물람 초제면에 잡잖아 다 지고랬어 그래서 저를 못해 대녀와 때문에 담발래 원외 대조 전체 니가다 지발라다 년주 동에다 텔레교베 잠도 렌제나 레버 삼레 예버 때문에 년에 양다 남지 시스 쇼스 게 년에 다들 예버전에 양대버 남게 시스 뭐 요하쇼 제송도 다 투메 제버시 셰송베 cherse.
And so then it says that therefore, although this may be difficult, we must make the effort because it is the foundation of the path. Again, is upping the ante here, saying we must make the effort because there is no choice. You know, and if there was another way, an easier way to find happiness and so on, that we could choose that. But actually, this is the only choice we have, and that if we want really happiness and we don't want suffering, and then this is where it's at, and we need to see this as the foundation of the path, and that here, even if we are trying to assimilate the essence of the subject matter of the path in relation to or in common with the being of elementary capacity, but it hasn't arisen as yet, then we need to make supplications, powerful requests and supplications to our Guru and to the Triple Gem. We must engage in a lot of effort of accumulating the merit, as Gena explained before, and purifying negativity. And then we must do our best, make more effort than we have been doing before to really to establish or to achieve the envisioned goal, and to really sustain our contemplation of the subject matter of these stages of the path, and that and make powerful aspirational prayers for future lives. And this is kind of like understanding that we need to do whatever we can to inspire us to make that effort, to make more effort, to become more dedicated to the path. And that includes, say, reading the biographies of holy beings for inspiration and so on. And that understanding that now I have a precious human rebirth. If I'm not going to make the effort now, when am I going to make the effort? I have everything in my hands now. I've got all the conducive conditions, and so I've just got to get on with it. And as J. Rinpoche Lama Tsongkhapa has said, coming from the instructional teachings of the Buddha, it is said that this life of favorable conditions and opportunity is very meaningful and difficult to find. can easily be destroyed, and you can fall into the lower realms suffering. Contemplate well on going for refuge, on karma and its results as protection from that, and with firm certainty pray to maintain the foundation of the right path.
주변에 탑시 매바 이는 뭐지 삼로 단 쳐요 말아. 그 탑시 여바 이나 딱 맞이네 샤바 딱 빼면서 방보로 와. 그 탑시 매바 이는 그 삼로 단데 소소소 고고 당로 들려 봐. 힐레스테리 기브로 왔다. 탑시 여바 이나 뒷 맞이만 딱 빼면서 방보로 와. 빼면서 방보.
So it's you know, if there was no way that we could influence our own happiness, and to no way that we could do anything to avoid future suffering, then you know, you'd have every right to just live and do nothing, not change. But the fact that there is this method and these techniques and these ways of thinking to transform our future, to really you know, guarantee genuine happiness and to avoid suffering in the future, that means if we did not take it up, that method, and then that would be really disastrous, you know, and kind of really reprehensible, and a real case of the most disastrous kind of self-deception.
세딜라 그제제 배는 거저 니마 찍제제 라 돌랑갑제 두제제 촐라치바네 돌라찍 동서 촐라치바 다시 뭐지 촐라치서 빼면서 방법 잡아디 쉽게 말봐 되게 말다 개와 치마 변제게 오늘 디기 요에 구급이 여봐대 소소 맞음네 때 라관지 쇼바나다 다 쉬운 방법으로 와 다시 쉬운 방법으로 와 삽도 매버다.
So that you know, like if you compare in this life, if we lost you know, $500 or $1,000, you know, you'd be quite disgusted with yourself, and that would be a bit of a disaster. But compare that to, say, losing the opportunity to really guarantee future happiness for yourself in future lives, and that if you lost that, you know, what price would you place on that? It'd be absolutely no way you could value that. That's really disastrous.
But 세디 돈은 어제 배주 먹고 지금 요래 깔래 자고 요래. 이나 세디 같이 강에 주마 이나 잡고 요래. 워시버 요래. 계급 요래. 같이 내고 직직 조회도 와. 나 치마 편제스도 강에 유요 말아. 다 뺀년 가로 왔다.
And so that even in this life, you know, we can make efforts, whatever efforts we make to fulfill things in this life. You know, we also have lots of assistance. We have our friends, we have our family, we have even, you know, government help to support us in what we're trying to do. But also we have to compare that to, or contrast that with, in the future. We don't know anything about what our future holds. You know, we've no idea what's ahead.
Okay, and those you
and so that you know, it's like you know, that's what when you know something about a situation, it tends to alleviate the fear that you have about that situation. But the less you know about a situation, for example, our future lives, it can bring up a lot more fear about the unknown.
안지단에 개와치마 하모가 왔다. 개와치마 매발 씹었는데 빼면서 개와다. 잠을리나 개와치마 마두고 먹고요래. 데 개와치마 하모가 와르마다 개와치마 매발 씹어 말해. 매발 씹었다. 하모가 왔는데 개와요래.
And so then the difference between not knowing about the future and not accepting that there's any future lives, and so there are many that fall into that category. But it's okay not to know about future lives, but you can't say that there is definitely no future lives. And so that you know, the difference between not knowing and maybe should. And claiming that there is no future lives. There's a big difference between those 2 points of view.
Yeah, 요말에 생긴데 요말에 생긴데 거 내가 씹어 말이야. 한 먹으면 내가 요말에 생겨 여러면 또 내가 씹어 말이야.
So you can't say that there are no future lives. You can only say that you don't know whether or not there are future lives or not.
어때도 내가 씹어 말이야. 근데 그래서 요말다 생겨 여러. 요말에 세도 거 씹어 돌아라고 요말와. 그래서 ignorance 돌아라고 여러다.
So anybody who makes that claim that there are no future lives can only be said to be making that claim out of ignorance. And there are also many who remember their previous lives.
아니 쟁갱의 부분부 연구도 zam을이 나로 이슈고 출로 가르치시 되겠어. 아니 코랑갈 기실아 가르쳐 버렸어. 어떤 나 켈랭구여 슬라비바 코랄들 슬라비. 코랄 레민도 닌제. 가보지기도 와.
And that again is recalling a teaching again I gave in a hall in Dalesford, and that it was
one church, I think one church.
Yeah, in a church, yeah. It was kind of like a religious, spiritual gathering of different teachers from different traditions. And anyway, it was quite popular and quite full. And one question came for all the different teachers on the panel as to, somebody asked the Christian minister, saying that there are many who believe or who recall their previous lives.
No, because somebody
and they saying that many children remember previous lives and are able to describe those previous lives. What does the Christian minister explain that?
How to explain in Christian religion?
And he didn't know what to say. He immediately handballed the question over to Genla. And Genla said, well, it's no problem for me. I totally accept that. So I handballed the question back to you. And he couldn't actually give any answer to that question.
And then because you should chulula and you kushab yus. And you kushab to the 그래서 출로 탐제게 아니 가서 님부터 어때 아니 데레스 가서 잡아대 닝제레스 잡아대 닝제레 난 된데 임바 인자 잡아 닝제 임바 인자 먼저 깨와치마 깨왕아마 켈레바이나 깨왕아치 켈레바이나 잡아대 닝제를 누구도나 싸워지네 켈레 요 말했어 그래서 출로 탐제 에센스 나 잡아대 닝제를 누구 매바이나 만매바 갈래 잡아대 닝제 깨라 편도 요바이나 오 어디라 직전에 And
then Genla said, okay, I'll attempt to put the question into contexts and say that I have respect for all spiritual traditions, and that particularly because really when you look at the essence of all the spiritual traditions, they really emphasize all the qualities of love and compassion. I think that goes without saying. And so really my attitude towards past lives is that if an acceptance of past lives were to contradict or to compromise my development of love and compassion, then I would completely reject it. But if, in my opinion, the acceptance of past lives actually enhances one's capacity to develop love and kindness and compassion, and therefore it's worthwhile accepting, because it enhances the very essence of all spiritual traditions.
What is like? And
then he said yes, the Christian minister said. So let's leave it there for today. Oh right, so again I said I have more work to do later on. When we do dissolve our merit field,
초신 되게다 지금 가서도 이게 냠년 지나주가 라만데다 저도 저는 지를 찍든 마티전 그거 저도 참 야티 아니 그 사무다주다 자지 주주니가 라마데가 미네 다 지금 그래서 제 앞서서 그다 중국에 저다 그 야 찍을 찍템전에 이게 가담게 가담 라마데가 찍을 찍템전에 이게 안데 가서 사무다주다 자주 라마데가 대 찍을 찍던다는 잠자야니라 파티 어떻게지 아니 동그다 초신 마데 최종 송만에 저는 미네야 찍을 찍템 야야 저는 찍을 찍템 전에데 안랑게 진짜 자외 라마 최종고다 라마데가 최종고다 라마데 진짜 자외 라마데 와다다 라마 종고가데 세션이 즉 셋업 아니 간투도 그 셉션 그래서 되게 망고지 셋업 세부시다 요마데야 종고가를 셋업도 또 셋업 주고래 또 레라도 주고래 또 레라 주고 어디래죠 안 셋도 셋업 어디래죠 아니 대 도스 미고 좀 어디래죠 아니 되네 아니 그래서 저도 차한테 라마 도안도 찬 파티 아니 잠자야니데 마 라마 도안도 찬데 랑게 진짜 자외 라마데 라마 다 도안도 찬 두가 내소 섬사자 어디래 찬다 간제 다 라마 도안도 찬데 다 잠내 구두잖아 어디래 내소 섬 어디래 고마시.
So the dissolution of the merit field begins with the dissolution of all the gurus and deities related to the lineage of consecrated practices. They all dissolve into the figure at the head of that lineage, which is Vajradhara. And then, to say similarly, on both the left and right, the lineages of the profound view and the extensive practices all dissolve into the principal figures at the head of those lineages, being Manjushri and Maitreya, respectively. And similarly, the different schools of the Kadampas dissolve into the figures of Maitreya and Manjushri, and indeed the Geluk tradition into Tsongkhapa, and then Tsongkhapa into the figures of Maitreya and Manjushri. And then all the figures in the front of the central figure, from the Dharma protectors through the Dakas and Dakinis and Arhats, etc., dissolve one into the next, going upwards, and finally all dissolving into the figure of our own root guru. And so that now we are left, all the merit field has been kind of summarized, as it were, into 5 principal remaining figures out of Vajradhara, Manjushri, Maitreya, and our own root guru, and of course the central figure. And so then after that, the dissolution of all those figures into the central figure of Munindra Vajradhara. And that this begins with the dissolution of Vajradhara down through the crown of the central figure to reside at the heart, and Maitreya and Manjushri dissolving into the body of the main figure, and our own root guru dissolving into the heart center of the central figure of Guru Munindra Vajradhara. And we place our focus on that momentarily, and have this understanding, of course, that the difficulty of maintaining a visualization clear on all the members of the merit field has been simplified somewhat by dissolving them into just 5 main figures, and then simpler again into the one central figure of Guru Munindra Vajradhara.
아니 되나 답한테 sometimes 소소지 통화고 또바 통화도 투배하고 검자에 잡으서는 검자 연 빨리 셔내 두고 잡더니만 이걸 남을 찾아지 연대 시주에 때내서 남을 찾아지 삼로다 아니 되나 마저 찾아 삼로다자 아니 그래서 초신 영조 세트 아니 초신 야도 아니 기대 또바 투배하고 죽어지 아니 되나 소소 검자 되기나 남을 찾아지 미국 찾아 좀 아니 야 초신 야도지 아니 또바 죽어지 다 이제 안 당하나 아니
And what's another good piece of advice here is that at this point, with the remaining single figure of Guru Munindra Vajradhara, we can engage in recite the prayer of the foundation of all qualities, and do that glance meditation on all the subjects of the graduated path. And as we do so, we can visualize that again the whole of the merit field emanates out from the central figure again and establishes completely the full members of the merit field momentarily. And then as we complete the prayer, they all again dissolve back into the single central figure of Guru Muninja Vajradhara, and we place our focus, that meditation, on that single figure for some time. That is quite recommended.
다가라를 셈샤네. 어떤 곰타들이 뭐라 어떤 잠깐자 남린제 차상냠도시 양수도 어떤 자 먼저 있는 어떤 자다 어떤 자 아니 되나 도바데 답하자 소 부주스나 구시다니 라마라발라 통화도 있잖아서 집에 주고다 라마라 통화도 있잖아 대절로고다 라마라 통화도 있잖아 소한테 담중고들 라마라 통화도 있잖아 소한테 기둥고들 라마라 통화도 있잖아 카누고들 라마라 통화도 주중고들 라마라 통화도 짬내고들 라마라 통화도 있잖아 소 부주시 있다 어떤 자.
And then we can recite the prayer from the miraculous book of the Gelugpas. My most divine Guru, Lord of the four Karas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara, my most divine Guru, Lord of unimpeded Dharmakaya. I make petition to you, Guru Shakyamuni Vajradhara. I make my most divine Guru, Lord of blissful Sambhogakaya, and Lord of sundry Nimanakayas, Lord of the embodiment of all Gurus, and the embodiment of all deities, and the embodiment of all Buddhas, and the embodiment of all Dharma, the embodiment of all Sangha, of all Dakas, Dharmapalas, of all refuge. I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara.
어디를 고마셔 어디를 나가자 아니 랑게 닝가들 빼마답게지 삼다 안데도 니마다베 된자 아니 집원마 된자네 집원마 된자잖다 마된자네든 받자라고 다른 뭐가 고소 무서 스타고 봤을 때 니가 가서 수배가 된도 산제 고마도 버데서 소소 고마셔.
And then we again bring our mind to remind ourselves that we have our own Guru on our crown, and we establish for them at our heart center the mandala of blood. And so we invite we invite the central figure of Guru Muninja Vajradhara to come to our crown. And again, with the glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seed placed there at my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness, bestow on me the attainment of your body, speech, and mind. And that's recited 3 times, so that the Guru makes that journey and establishes themselves firmly on the crown. And then we invite them to our heart center, where we have prepared the lotus, moon, and sun disk mandala. And in the same way, they begin the journey through our crown, down through our central channel. O glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here at my heart. Keep me safe in your kindness and bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind. 1, 2, and 3 times, so that they come, they seat, and they are remaining with us steadfast until we attain enlightenment. This is really wonderful. I completely rejoice that I have that assurance and the protection of the Guru until I attain the state of enlightenment. This brings forward bliss, which transforms into emptiness, and we abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness.
안테나 베마츠로 남진이 내다네 엔티데 도지체가체 안테나 가서 오마 이오르리 아마 소아스 가서데 안 양다 아니 세제가 가서다 보면 뭐 샤가 소아스 테나도 예다마 예도 저버다 가서 가시면서 아니 어떻게 나한테 이제서 담보되게 예고했잖아 요거체테네 예고체는 어떻게 나한테 그 거래였어 안테나 왜세 트레네 라마토안 도체 라마샤이 생게 왜 세트네 랑게 지원네 간데 뭐 세트네 아니 지금 가서 도움을 디바데 자 안다가니 제 란체 단지 바자스 샤바이 아니 시와체 안다가니 제가 체질라 아니 산제 고마토베가 자롱 티게라 소바다 아니 레소마르 와티게 그가 교육이 차데 아마 세네 아니 레소마 차소 삼사체 아니 다가니 제가 가서래 다 지금 체질라 산제 고마토발라다 갈라면 냐수말은 탑매바 인사 아니 지 가서다 지 가서다 제불람 제체네 아니 가 탐에게 낚시 고액 탐에게 낚시도 고고 띠 고액 아니 바도 제체게 다 탐에 낚시게 낭셰데 다 계기가 디 바두치 디바드 다 타메가 낭셰 고토네 아니 가나하고 차투가도 어제 딱 그제 더블 람도 키토예요 그 바주 디바드 디바드 다네 더블 람도 키토에 야고 쉬우 차수 없어 어디는 고마셔.
And then that the petals of the lotus fold over the figure of our guru on our heart center, and that sealed by the semi-vadra at the top, and then further by the circling of the Sanskrit vowels in a clockwise direction, the Sanskrit consonants in an anti-clockwise direction, and the mantra of dependent origination again in a clockwise direction. And this then inspires countless rays of light to emanate from within the folded leaves of the folded petals of the lotus, and they permeate through our body-mind system, entering into every cell of our body and mind, and purifying all negativities and obscurations, and pacifying all the self-cherishing as well as the imprints of our self-cherishing. And that to especially completely pacify our whole ordinary appearance, our ordinary perception, and that to imbue us with the pure perception of taking the result onto the path, and that we feel that we really have achieved that. Oh, and that all of our winds and channels and drops have become appropriated by within our subtle body to give us the full capacity, potential to really attain the state of enlightenment as quickly as possible.
So the shit to look Nilenga and Lama Shajas good Ligiga, rather send Nilenga, Lama Shajas to the Ligiga, Ragi Lunga used to the Lama Shajas to the way you may chasso some of the.
And then through the combination of our own most subtle wind acting as the substantial cause with the body of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, our own body transforms into the enlightened body of a Buddha, and so Shinto Trawe and our own most subtle, with the combination of our own most subtle mind acting as the substantial cause, together combined with the mind of the Buddha, our own mind is transformed into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. And then we have this certainty of our own body, speech and mind being indivisible, and from the body, speech and mind of a Buddha. And then all the faults of the place in which we are have been purified as well, and it transforms into a Buddha realm. And then we emanate countless rays of light from our own body, the body of a Buddha, countless rays of light equal in number to all the sentient beings in all the 6 realms of existence. And these rays of light go out, entering into the crowns of all the sentient beings there, and then completely purifying them of all negativities and obscurations, so that they transform into Buddhas, and that the places they are in are completely purified of all fault, and they transform into the enlightened realms of a Buddha. And so the objective of really fulfilling the purpose of all sentient beings has been fulfilled today. How wonderful that is, I rejoice. Now I make a strong, powerful dedication, knowing that I'm only bringing this forth, making this happen based on my thinking, my imagination, but I dedicate so that it may quickly become truly manifest. So it'd be very good to be able to incorporate that into one's morning practice, depending on what time one has, to to visualize the full merit field and so on, and to make supplications in that way, and then to dissolve the merit field, and to reach that point where one has the Guru steadfast at one's heart, so that then whatever we do, all the food and drink we partake, for example, is making an offering, not just to feed ourselves, but making an offering to the Guru at our heart center. That would be very good. It's making an offering. I'm making an offering. And that then bring forth the sense of bliss and emptiness, and the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness, and then whatever we eat and drink becomes an offering. So we do the Lamrim prayer. From my two collections, vast as space, that I have amassed in working with this effort to great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives meant to retreat. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means strong by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time, with my heart going out with great compassion, with whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined. May I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time by even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere.